Hello, friends. This is Dr. John WorldPeace. It's Tuesday, December the 14th, uh, 11 days before Christmas, 1:30 p.m., Albuquerque, New Mexico. This video is going to be out about the coronavirus and Jesus as a liberal. All the standard contribution stuff and linking stuff, etc., is below the video in the description. Okay, I'm probably going to read most of this because it's important, and I want to make sure I say everything that I wrote down. Normally I just have notes in front of me, but in this case, about a third of the time I have something I need to read. It's been 2 years since God shut down the Donald Trump presidency. You can't say that God didn't shut him down because Donald Trump was riding high and taking America on a downhill, slippery slope. And God produced the coronavirus in December of 2019. And from then on, Donald Trump has gone downhill. After the coronavirus appeared, nothing has gone right for Donald Trump. He slowly descended on a downward slide into a place where I said he would go in 2016 if he decided to run for president. I said he would lose everything he had, and friends, he is well on the way. The news in the last week or so outside the Supreme Court is showing more and more what happened in the January 6th riot. Insurrection, and it's not good for Trump. Donald Trump is an abomination to God and Jesus. He has broken 9 of the 10 commandments. He's a liar without equal. Donald Trump has never let up on cursing the radical liberal left. And sadly, American evangelists and fundamentalist Christians do not understand or acknowledge Jesus as the ultimate liberal. They have a major disconnect. That was Jesus' core message. Love one another. Do not judge. Forgive your neighbor 7 times, 70 times. Turn the other cheek. Reach out to the poor, the sick, and those who are downtrodden. Be a good Samaritan. That is the message of Jesus. And all you people that say you're saved, that's your message. Christians who claim to be saved and do not follow these Christ mandates are not saved. Period. Christians who go to church on Sunday morning for a few hours, allegedly worshiping Jesus, and then on Sunday afternoon join the Trump Republican chorus of hatred for liberals, the liberal left, and the agenda to reach out to those Americans who are in need. These false Christians curse the liberalism of Jesus before and after their short visit to church on Sunday morning and say they're saved. They're not saved. You cannot go to church on Sunday and say you're a Christian and you've been saved and you've been baptized and you believe in the words of Jesus and his liberal, ultra-liberal, love one another message, and Monday morning, Sunday afternoon, pick up the Trump mantra and spew hatred to the max for the liberal left. who are reaching out to the bottom end of the social pyramid, just as Jesus said. You either worship Jesus or you worship Donald Trump. Hebrews 8:10-12, the New Testament, and Jeremiah 31:33, the Old Testament, say the same thing. God has put his laws in your hearts and minds, and if you want to know God, if you want to know the truth, all you've got to do is look inside. How do you do that? Study, meditate, pray, and find your own answers. God's truth is in your heart. You don't need to be listening to any false preacher or not false preacher. You need to look inside first. Then you can go to church and see if what the preacher is saying is what you know to be true in your heart. When you listen to any preacher, you take on his truth, which may not be the truth, much less the truth for you. And Jesus said, when the blind lead the blind, they both fall into the ditch. When the arrogant preachers, false preachers, demand you follow their brand of God in Jesus' teaching, as opposed to promote each Christian to look inside and find God, they are blind and false preachers. Shun them, or you will find yourself in a ditch of darkness with them. Jesus said a house divided cannot stand. Jesus' message was the ultra-liberal message of love one another. I keep saying it. You've got to learn to hear it, because you Republicans are not matching up what you say you believe about Jesus and what you say about Donald Trump. The arch-conservative message of hatred of liberal teachings of Jesus is a prime example of a Christian house divided. The cause and leaders of that division is Donald Trump and his Republican Party. God did not make Trump president. American democracy did that. Only the most ignorant of Christians would suggest that God wanted Trump to be president and attack the foundational love one another teachings of Jesus. A house divided can't stand. Donald Trump is for everything Jesus is against. Donald Trump hates liberals. Jesus is an ultra-liberal. If you follow Donald Trump, you are not saved. You hate Jesus. You must avoid false preachers. How do you know who's a false preacher? They support Donald Trump. They reject and condemn the liberal left message of Jesus. They support the Republican Party that supports Donald Trump and has hatred for the message of love one another. They support the false book of Revelations. All this and more is on my website, which has 15,000 pages, and there's no way I can get that in one video. This is in the description below. Also, my book, my website, The Third Millennium, Second Reformation of Christianity. The first Reformation was Martin Luther 500 years ago in the Catholic Church. We're now into the second Reformation of the third millennium. False preachers also preach against the COVID vaccination. This is crazy. When you have to be brain dead and totally ignorant of the Bible to not get a vaccination. Now, I want you to listen to this. In order to free the Israelites from the Pharaoh, God told Moses that he was sending the shadow of death to kill the firstborn in the land. Consider that the shadow of death is a coronavirus. Then God told Moses to tell the people to paint blood on their doorposts of their shelters in order to be spared. Now God has used the coronavirus to destroy the anti-liberal, anti-Jesus message of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. And God has presented a vaccine, not blood on the doorpost, but a vaccine to save you from the coronavirus. America is the New Jerusalem. It's the only nation in the world that has a liberal constitution where all religions, all nationalities, all races, all genders are offered the opportunity of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The only nation where all the above live in peace. When Jesus, the Messiah, came to the Jews 2,000 years ago, he created a new covenant of Judaism. The new covenant has become Christianity. The Zionists of Israel worshiped the archaic Judaism, and America was founded on the new Christian Judaism. It is absolutely ridiculous for Christian America to be the dog that the tail, Israel, the old Judaism, wags. America cannot allow Israel to control its future. So listen to me closely. The shadow of death of the Old Testament is the coronavirus of the world today. The blood on the doorposts of the Old Testament is the vaccine of today. Yet with the vaccination, there are 25% American fundamentalists who are American fundamentalists and evangelicals who refuse to get vaccinated because they listen to false preachers and do not seek out the truth from God who is in their hearts. As those Jews who refuse to put blood on their doorposts, so are false Christians who refuse to get the corona vaccination. 800,000 Americans have died, more than any other country in the world. America, with more deaths of a virus. Crazy. America, the light of the world, has through false preachers and anti-liberal Republicans seen the decimation of its citizens because of false preachers who support Donald Trump and the Republican Party and all Republicans from the pulpit. America is the light of the world. America is the New Jerusalem. Love one another is that America is the American Christian mantra. Donald Trump is anti-American and anti-Christian, and he's an abomination to God and Jesus, and I will say that again. Donald Trump breaks 9 commandments, is anti-Jesus, anti-liberal Jesus, and an abomination to God and Jesus. Now, what I'm saying is what anybody can see is the truth. Right out of the Bible, right out of what's going on outside your front door. Jesus said, over and over and over, my kingdom is not of this earth. The book of Revelation says Jesus will come and establish a new kingdom on earth. That is not what Jesus said. The book of Revelations, again, is false. Jesus' resurrection was into his spiritual body, not the earth body that was destroyed in the crucifixion. That is why Jesus could walk through walls, appear and disappear, and rise up into the sky. after the resurrection. He was showing his spiritual body. After the resurrection, Jesus rose into the sky and disappeared from view. Did not disappear from the earth. But he said he was with us always. So here's the clarity you need. Jesus never left. He just went invisible. Why did he go invisible? Of all the people Jesus healed and helped in infinite ways, only a handful of women were at the cross. So what good did all those visual miracles accomplish? Anyone who was truly thankful for the miracles of Jesus they received would still be standing at the cross. They abandoned him. Thanks, Jesus, for the healing. See you around. Here's a couple pennies for your efforts. There's the truth. The book of John says at the end that if all the miracles that Jesus did were written in a book, all the books in the world couldn't hold the content. And how many people were at the cross? A handful of women. Thank you, Jesus. Well, no wonder he doesn't want to hang around. Jesus is working here. He says he will never leave, but he's choosing to do it invisibly. So now Jesus works on the earth invisibly. Is Jesus present at your church on Sunday morning? Or is Jesus a liar about being where two or more are gathered in his name? Do you think Jesus is at your church? Yes or no? If you don't, why don't you stand up in church one Sunday morning and say, Jesus is not here. See what happens. Well, if Jesus is in your church on Sunday morning, I guess he didn't leave. And if he didn't leave, he's not coming back. Can't come back from a place you never left. Another reason the book of Revelation is wrong. Jesus cannot return as a book of Revelation if he never left. False preachers have skewed the message of Jesus in so many ways. The book of Revelation is false, and the false preachers who teach it are an abomination to God and Jesus. That is why I, John WorldPeace, the only advocate for Jesus Christ, from the Gospel of John, am writing this to you, speaking it to you. You must seek the God in your heart and quit relying on false preachers to fill you with lies about Jesus for their own personal self-aggrandizement and to increase their personal wealth. I've been Dr. John WorldPeace for 33 years. I've waited for 2 years for some preacher or priest to take over this role of advocate for Jesus Christ. I've waited for one of them to come forward. None have come forward. So I was verified as the only advocate for Jesus Christ. I cannot sit back any longer. I'm the one. I'm prepared to debate on the internet any false preacher who claims to be the advocate for Jesus, as talked about in the Gospel of John. No false preacher will challenge me in a public internet debate where millions can view it. I've only touched on all I have written on this matter in my book, The Third Millennium, Second Reformation of Christianity, and on my website, The Purple Order of Spiritual Christians. Corporate Christianity has become a false Christianity, as evidenced by its support of Donald Trump and its supporting of the radical right-wing fascist Trump republicanism, which under Trump is the Antichrist antagonist of Jesus. If you support Jesus, if you support the Republican Party, if you reject American liberalism, which is the foundation of Jesus' message of love and the United States Constitution, you are a false Christian, and you have not been saved by Jesus. You cannot talk up Jesus Sunday morning and then talk down Jesus all the rest of the week, Sunday afternoon to the next Sunday morning. You are a liar. You are not saved. Let those who have eyes hear, and let those who have eyes see, and those who have ears hear. As the only global advocate for world peace and the only advocate for Jesus Christ, per the Gospel of John, I have opened up a global conversation about the future of the world human society and the destiny of the planet Earth in the universe. See johnworldpeace.com. Let me say the hard times are ahead. The momentum of the world human society is a rejection of God's Garden of Eden to be replaced by a global Mars desert. That's where we're headed. The use of fossil fuels must stop immediately, and we need to globally pray to get through the hard times that will come initially for that change away from fossil fuels. The second foundation of Jesus Christ after love one another is ask and receive, seek and find, knock and enter. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. If you believe in me, you can do the things I do, and greater things than these will you do. That's the second most important foundation of the teachings of Jesus. This means, and you need to listen to this, this means the future is pliable. Jesus is saying the future is what we decide it's going to be. The world human society, what it projects is what it gets. This is another reason the book of Revelations is false, because it says the future is set in stone, and it is not. God has set free the coronavirus and given a vaccine to control it. Jesus has given a way forward and a total elimination of the coronavirus on the earth, a global mindset to project a different future than that of the book of Revelation and its false preachers. A future that ends the coronavirus that is killing us and the use of fossil fuels that are destroying the Garden of Eden. What an abomination to God that human beings would burn down the earth. That's exactly what's happened. And it has happened incredibly in the last 70 years. 70 years. The world is in 70 years ago is so different than the world now. It's just not even conceivable. Through democracy, the world human society owns the future, not God. With democracy came the end of prophets of God to appoint kings to rule the earth. Democracy produced Donald Trump as the worst case scenario of American Christianity and the world human society. Democracy has taken over God's job of appointing kings. And who got appointed in 2016? Garbage. A gob of spit. A man who hates Jesus, hates liberal, hates everybody but himself, and he brought the entire Republican Party right along with him. I have 15,000 pages on my website, johnworldpeace.com. I have for 33 years researched and what it will take to increase the peace in the world human society. Now I'm promoting peace by promoting a world peace, teaching peace agenda for a return to a more sane and just and friendly world human society, if not simply the survival of the world human society. We can't stay on this path. We cannot burn down the earth. We cannot kill the planet that is our source of life. We'll either come together to increase the peace in the world human society, or we will continue the divisiveness of Trump and the Republicans such that we will not have to go to Mars, because the desert of Mars will replace the Garden of Eden that God made on earth. If I'm wrong, I want to be made right. So come on, you preachers. Let's have a debate. Let's see what you can come up with. You're not going to debate me. The priests of Baal in the Old Testament were foolish enough to debate Elijah. Come on down. Let's have a debate. You're not going to come because you can't deny the truth. I don't preach I don't preach at all. I don't lecture, talk about anything except what's written in the Bible, and mostly the red letter words of Jesus. I'm not going to argue whether this red letter word or that red letter word is right or wrong or whatever, or misinterpreted. I assume that all Christians believe that what's in the Bible is true. And that's what I'm talking to. And I've told you 3 instances where the book of Revelation, which nobody knows who wrote it, is contrary to the sayings of Jesus, which he spoke out loud to witnesses, to his disciples. That's the truth. The book of Revelation is science fiction that the preachers over the last 100 years have made millions and millions of dollars off of. It is a golden goose laying eggs. Well, it's a lie. Time to end it. Time to get on track. Time to paint the blood on our doorposts and get vaccinated. This is Dr. John WorldPeace, JD. Thanks for your consideration. We have a lot of work to do.